Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. Now, there hasn't been an episode in, I would say, a very long time. A long time for me, at least. I'm thinking it's at least been about 6 weeks. We've been doing a lot of casual streams. We've been doing some watch-alongs, some bass talks, but nothing beats a good old episode where I just break down my official opinions and thoughts on some of the most popular topics and some of the topics that I just want to talk about. So, without further ado, that's what we're going to do today. I'm not sure where we're going to get to, but let the fun begin. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So look, I think it's fair to say that one of the biggest talking points this week is the fact that Frank Warren and Queensberry Promotions are now officially going to the zone on the 1st of April 2025. April Fool's Day. Who would have thought? I guess it's a bit apropos when we think about all of the Who Wants to Go to DeadZN stuff that we was getting all those years ago. Well, when I do see Frank or a member of the team, I definitely will be, saying something along the lines of from the dead zone to the place to be. Look, how did we get here ultimately? With the amount of sort of vim and with the amount of talk that was had regarding DeadZN and how no one watches that app and who wants to fight on that app and the big channels is where it's at. Well, I guess not anymore. This does beg the question though, what's going to happen with TNT Sports when it comes to boxing? Are they going to stay in the game? Are they going to maybe just license out a couple of pay-per-view box office events from time to time within the sport, similar to, I guess, maybe what they do sometimes with the big offerings of the UFC? Is that the way they're gonna go down? Is it maybe a chance for someone like Ben Shalom and Boxer to slide over there? Will they maybe look to a couple of small hall promoters, maybe Wasserman? Will Wasserman get a TNT Sports deal to take them away from Channel 5, seeing as they don't seem to be doing a huge amount of shows themselves? It's very interesting. I know I've seen a lot of people quite asking how they think it will work between obviously Frank and Eddie on the zone, especially both being UK broadcasters. I mean, to me, the way that it kind of makes the most sense is that they either, split the dates depending on who they think's got the bigger roster, but you alternate the weekends between the two, or primarily like Eddie will keep all the slots that he currently has, but anytime when he's doing a American or Mexican based show or just another show outside of the UK heavy the UK heavy timeline and whatnot, then I guess Frank can obviously slot into those shows. If we're looking at that, I mean, how much does Eddie does about 30 shows a year, something give or take, 30 to 36 shows. So if that's the case, well, you can give Frank a nice little 16, or some of, again, maybe 20 to 24, because remember, Eddie's shows will be split between the US and the UK. So there's that, plus obviously there's Golden Boy, there's potentials that Top Rank may be looking in and around that direction. It was only a matter of time until the rest of them started getting with the app, and whether you like the layout of the DAZN app or how it functions or whatnot, the writing was on the wall that that's where things were gonna go. So look, Frank, Queensberry, they all done the right thing. They jump into the ship that's at least gonna fund them for boxing specific. But it's the backtracking that I have yet to see, because I've yet to see anyone really question any members of the team on it. And you guys know, as soon as I get the next opportunity, I will do. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be at the press conference that they've got on Thursday, as I would love to bring it up then. But, all in good time. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, look, it's good news all around for them. for the fighters. I'm sure there will be more dates that come in, and also I guess that means more collaborations between Matchroom, Queensbury, hopefully Golden Boy Promotions jump in there as well. Again, if Top Rank can move over there, if the PBC can stop messing about and, you know, at least subcontract their their roster over there rather than trying to fund things through Amazon GoFundMe, I guess we'll be able to see a lot of good collaborations on the hub. It may make some other pricing things a problem down the line, but that's down the line metrics. For right now, welcome to the zone, Frank. Hope you enjoy. So it seems that the Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois rematch, which we were supposed to be getting around about February time, I think the 22nd of February, Riyadh season potentially, looks like it's being called off. Anthony Joshua has a supposed undisclosed injury, or is recovering from injuries and won't be ready until sort of May, June time. I'm a little disappointed in the timeline more than anything else. And obviously, look, I don't know what the injury is, so I can only imagine. If it's something substantial where it's going to keep you out for 6 to 8 weeks, 10 weeks or so, then fair enough. I guess the time frame of May to June is okay-ish, but I felt that Anthony Joshua was at his best when he was the most active. That period he had between, Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, Otto Wallin, and Francis Ngannou. Yes, they may not have been the creme de la creme of competition on a whole, at least, but the activity was there. It was 4 fights in 11 months, I think, actually. Yeah, from April to March. That kind of activity, he got better and better fight after fight. Now, I'm not saying that what happened with Daniel Dubois wouldn't have happened had he not then waited 6 months between March and September, but the quick turnarounds and the staying sharp was there. So I'm not saying it was ring rust, but you could see that the improvements of having those quicker camps. Obviously, Riyadh season had to have certain dates, and you apply for those particular dates themselves. I get it, but if you now say that your next opportunity to fight won't be until sort of May, June time, or what's that, 9 months, 10 months from from when you previously fought, is a 10-month layoff the right kind of time to get back in there with anyone of serious note? Because at this point you can't have any sort of like warm-up fights, any type of just the sharpening the tools fights. No one's going to accept anything other than a big fight, whether that's from a challenger, like someone that's ranked in the top 5, or someone that's on the cusp of getting ready to win one of those big belts. Like, you have to be in a big fight, and even in that sort of time frame, March, June, let's be honest, if you're waiting on the quote-unquote Tyson Fury thing, well, there's no guarantee that he's going to want to come back out 5 months after he's already had a fight, going into Christmas and the New Year. He might want to wait until June, July. He may not want to come back until September, depending on what he's doing, if that's what you're waiting for. So that pushes your timeline back further. Now, that's on that sense. Now, if it's just a case of, look, the time frames can't line up between him and Daniel Dubois, like now, again, it's a bit of a shame, because I want to see him go back in and run it back with Dubois if he has the opportunity to. I don't think that any demons or any doubts or any thoughts that you had in your mind are gonna go, or they're not gonna alleviate themselves until you go back into that fire. That's always gonna kind of be there. And the way I said it after the previous fight, he can't do any worse than he did in that first fight. Even if he technically got knocked out quicker, he would give a better performance overall, because there's only one time that you're going to allow that many mistakes to happen. And so you can't do any worse, which means that if you lose again, he just is the better man. He has your number. you just can't beat him. It's that simple. Whereas right now, everything's up in the air, and I think in his mind it's probably up in the air as well. And I don't know if that's a feeling you can comfortably sit on. The only way to alleviate that, I mean, to be honest, if we're going to be real, the only person that you could kind of get back in the ring with you know, a decent level of credibility is going to be Joseph Parker, to try and take that interim WBO title from him. But he's not going to wait around until, you know, May, June time, especially when he hasn't boxed since March last year. He should have already been out. Like, it's a bit of a travesty that he hasn't been. You know, I made mention to this on October Red's live stream that she'd done with him. And I made mention of it on Twitter, and he actually liked the comment where I said it feels like he's being punished for upsetting the apple cart twice in a row. So I feel like there is an agenda there, but also I will concede that Joseph Parker isn't the most fan-friendly boxer either. He's good, but you know, you would much rather see a Zhang or a Bakoli in the ring, or even Ajit Caballero at this point, because you know, these are guys that are 100% constantly going for the knockout right now, at least. Whereas, you know, Joseph is very much he's going to box, he's going to throw combinations, he's going to move, he's going to he's going to try to set traps, he's going to time, he's going to spoil when he needs to, he's going to stay safe as well. You know, which is all, you know, keys to longevity, but isn't always the most friendly style to watch. So he maybe is a victim of that as well. But yeah, I guess we'll find out down the line. But yeah, look, just in terms of the actual of AJ and who he should be fighting, I think you need to run the Daniel Dubois fight back while you can. If you miss this window, I definitely think there should be no other opportunities outside of you earning yourself back to a mandatory spot, or at least earn yourself back to the voluntary. That's my personal opinions, but yeah, let me know yours. And I'm interested to see who Daniel gets next in his, you know, from his voluntary defense that he gets. I guess we'll wait and see, but it'll be interesting. I will be keeping my eyes peeled. And no doubt what you guys would have seen from the live that took place a little bit earlier on, Conor Benn looks like he's officially finally bust case with UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control via the NADP, the National Anti-Doping Panel. The irony is they've basically given the same statement that they gave last year. When was it that they gave it? It was like when was it? It was earlier this year, wasn't it? Like in February or something like that. I can't even remember when they had to basically reinstate the ban, when the UKAD basically was saying that they you know, based on their beliefs, the processes weren't followed correctly, and that the ban should be reinstated until due diligence could be held or whatnot. And that all kind of went through the process, and he ended up getting put back on the list, so couldn't fight. It might have been last year. Now I'm thinking about it, that could have been like last year, October, November. That sounds more plausible. But yeah, so you had that situation, and now the NADP have said again, well, there's no, you know, UKAD have not been able to conclusively prove that the clomiphene that was found in his system was ingested intentionally and not via an accidental contamination or anything like that. Therefore, they've lifted the suspension again. Now, the UKAD do have the right to appeal again, as they will always have, I believe. I don't think this ever becomes a final one, you know, a fit and final decision. So look for another potential appeal, because I did see the statement where UKAD said they will be looking at their options in accordance with their rules and regulations, and you know, giving further correspondence in due time. So I mean, look, with that being said, let's wait and see what is going to happen with that. But look, I mean, look, give me your thoughts. Ultimately, the way I kind of see it is, look, whether he's innocent or guilty, unless you want him out of this sport completely, like you just want a lifetime ban and nothing else, he's had two years, well, no, what, about 20, almost coming up to 26 months of this, you know, at this point. And yes, he did have 2 fights in between when he was cleared to fight at that particular moment in time, but he's lost, well, you could say he's lost about 16 months of his career overall, in terms of like not doing training camps or whatnot, possibly not being allowed to actually be in the gym and sparring with the boys and etc. So there's been many people that have taken worse PEDs and have served lesser bans. You've got Ryan Garcia currently only being given a 12-month, and it was 12 months from, you know, from the date of the fight when he was caught, as opposed to 12 months from when he was found guilty. So he can come back in April. So if that's the case, you know, why is Conor Benn still suffering 2 years down the line? Like I say, if you want to ban him for life, cool. I've got no issues with that as an actual punishment. But if it's not a case that he can be banned for life on this, which is now a first offense, realistically, like 2 years is enough to have to deal with this. And now that they've said, maybe not that he's proved his innocence, quote unquote, but he's not ingested anything intentionally, and that he's been cleared of any wrongdoing in the ingestion of the substance, or however it got into the system, it's about time to let it go. You know, just this kind of, yeah, it's time. It's time. Let's see him back in the ring. See him at 147 again, because that was the interesting thing, which obviously I did speak about earlier. When you've got, yeah, people said, well, there was no knockout power at 154 or the catch weights, but you also got to remember, when you move from 147 to 154, you also go from 8-ounce gloves to 10-ounce gloves, and those 2 ounces can make a difference. And obviously a lot of time you get people that are naturally bigger bringing themselves down to 154, so sometimes the power doesn't travel as well. Sometimes people just can absorb shots better. And as we do remember, the Mexican guy that he fought in the first fight before Peter Dobson also got found for performance enhancing drugs after the fight. Hence, that could have been a reason why his punch resistance was so good in that bout. Who knows? All I know is it's about time for him to get back to action. Let's get the fights back going. Let's see what he's still got in the tank, and then we can make our own conclusions as to, you know, was he really on the substances or not, or now that he's not on the substances, look how he's looking compared to before. Is what it is. That's sort of my thoughts on it. Anyway, please leave me yours down below in the comment section. We will be back on the videos. I'm hoping that another one will come out very shortly after this one, probably before basis picks, but yeah, we'll wait and see. With that being said, thank you very much for watching. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. But for right now, it's the Hardcore Casual out.